Welcome back to 3 News at 5. I love all heartstring stories, but this one's really, really cool. 2 men, 1 marathon, and a bond forged through life's toughest race.
Our Lindsay Buckingham shows us how a Cleveland Clinic doctor's promise to never leave his patient's side went far beyond hospital walls.
These 2 men are about to cross the finish line at the Boston Marathon.
John! Come on, baby!
They're much more than training partners.
Yeah, here we go.
Their bond runs deeper than any race.
He's a role model and a friend. Come on, man. Come on.
37-year-old John Johnson is a dedicated runner, qualifying for the Boston Marathon in 2023 with his Cleveland Marathon time.
I PR'd, I ran a 3:04.
Impressive, no doubt, but the celebration was short-lived.
Just finding blood in my stools pretty regularly. I told my wife, and like, all right, well, let's check this out.
2 weeks later, a doctor shared devastating news.
There's no easy way to tell you this. I found a tumor. Most likely it's cancer. The next question I asked was, should I tell my wife? Because she was all I thought about.
John, a non-smoking vegetarian, was diagnosed with stage 2 rectal cancer. The next step was to meet with a specialist, one you may recognize.
Medicine is really an art, and getting to know patients and connecting with them is part of that.
Dr. David Rosen is a colorectal surgeon at the Cleveland Clinic.
I know a lot about the disease process we're talking about. I want to share that knowledge with you to help you make the best decision for you.
That approach built trust with John.
But there was never a moment where I second-guessed my treatment plan because it just felt right.
25 radiation treatments and 8 rounds of chemotherapy. Dr. Rosen never left his side, a commitment that would later take on a new meaning.
He's just like, all right, we're gonna get through this.
In January of 2024, he did.
And my wife came in and she said, did you see the results? And I was like, no. And she's like, it's gone. We just hugged and cried.
With a cancer-free milestone, John set his sights on the Boston Marathon, closing the circle on a journey that began before his diagnosis. Only he wouldn't do it alone.
He hinted at the idea of, well, maybe we run it together. And all it took was that. I'm like, great, yes, no takebacks.
The 2 trained for months, building not just endurance, but a close friendship. On Marathon Day, Dr. Rosen strengthened his commitment for 26.2 miles.
He stayed with me, even though he could run ahead. He was just sticking with me that entire time.
As they crossed the finish line,
I just cried in his arms.
Everything he had been through, I was so proud of him. As we're crossing the line, I had my arm around him, and I told him, you did it. Running the marathon as fast as we can is not necessarily the mission. The patient is the mission, and John's the mission. So staying there by his side, it was never a question.
John says his cancer battle unveiled his purpose.
It's all about just having the conversation and destigmatizing the conversation about blood in your stools or bowel movements or hemorrhoids or all those things, especially for people my age.
Now, these 2 will advocate together, reminding us that sometimes the best medicine is in someone who doesn't let you run alone. Lindsay Buckingham, 3 News.
Cool stuff. John and Dr. Rosen will be lacing up once again this weekend for the Cleveland Marathon. The festivities kick off Friday with a health and wellness expo at Huntington Convention Center. The 5K and 10K races will be Saturday morning, and the half and full marathon coming up Sunday morning. And John, who we're told is doing great, has launched his own nonprofit to help raise awareness. We have more info on WKYC.com. And don't forget, if you want to see more stories like these, catch Lindsay's latest at WKYC.com and Wednesdays on WKYC Plus, our streaming channel.